Huge respect, Shamil, huge respect. Multiply, take action. Let's move forward. Our next speaker, and I talked to you earlier about unity. Well, this is about us standing together in solidarity. Our next speaker is Glynn Secker from the Jews for Justice for Palestine. Glynn.
Thank you very much. When you were asked how many people have been to Gaza, I had a slight twinge because they wouldn't let me in. I was the captain of the Jewish boat to Gaza in 2010, and they boarded us and they attacked us and they arrested us and they tried to kill one of us and they deported us as quickly as they... Our ideas and our criticism of Israel inside Israel. We were news on their channel TV, Channel 10 and Channel 4 for 4 days in Israel. They did not like it. We're an organisation of about 1,800 Jews in this country and a population of about 350,000 Jews in the country. We're small, but we are significant because what we say avowedly and what Israel is doing to the Palestinians is not in our name. Israel does not speak for us. We come from a different tradition, a humanist tradition, a social tradition, a tradition which came partly from a huge socialist and trade union movement called the Bund in the 19th century in Eastern Europe, which had as its central tenet fighting racism and fighting anti-Semitism, not by a nationalist alternative, not by trying to take somebody else's land, but by trying to change the nature of the country within which they lived at the time. That organisation, along with millions of other people, met its end in the war at the time, and the rise of the alternative Jewish organisation, the nationalist one, the extreme Zionists, came to the fore, and they clearly stated that the Bible was their title deed. In other words, they were using the Bible as a real estate folio. They themselves were atheists. They themselves pointedly on occasions violated kosher law. They wanted to separate themselves from the Orthodox Jewish communities around the world because the Orthodox communities at that time did not want a nationalist Jewish organisation and solution to the Jewish question. Ben-Gurion is quoted as saying of the Palestinians at that time, not one village, not one tribe shall be left. That was the original agenda. You can see that that train of thought, that mode of operation is still dreadfully and shamefully alive today. It was given a practical form of organisation by a guy called Jabotinsky, who developed the notion of the Iron Wall. Jewish labour, Jewish produce, Jewish land, by legal means, by financial means, and if necessary, by physical means of force. And that has informed the project that has been Israel over the decades. We say that Israel does not speak for all Jews. We reject the fact that any criticism of Israel is anti-Semitic. Absolutely reject that. Because if you go along with that, it means that Israel places itself in an ivory white tower above criticism. That is not on. No way, for no people, nowhere in the world, is anyone above moral criticism. If all Jews were to identify with Israel and its current behaviour at the moment, that would open the doors to anti-Semitism. That's the significance of our organisation and of Jewish Voice for Peace in the States, that we say proudly, we criticise what you do, absolutely. We're a different voice, and you do not have the right to speak for us. If Israel manages to convince the world that it speaks for all Jews and behaves like this and generates anti-Semitism, it develops a self-fulfilling prophecy, because then it can turn around and say, we are practicing ethnic clearing, we are practicing land grabs in the purpose of defending Jews, and that gives them the right to misuse and abuse the history of the Holocaust in that process. That's what's at stake for us. It's vital, it's central, and what their agenda is quite untenable. It's actually horrific. I think that what's happened with Protective Edge, I sit like you in front of the television, and I cannot cope with what I'm watching. It is unbelievable. And most people have been seeing that around the world. It's on Facebook, it's on social media, it's jumped way beyond the formal national institutions of media, and they have been forced to show those pictures on the news. And I think what's happened now, with the huge reaction that's taking place, is that Protective Edge has become Israel's Sharpeville. Now, for those of you who are not of a certain age in the audience, Sharpeville was the occasion when the white regime in South Africa mowed down a peaceful black demonstration. And it spread across the world, and it connected what was happening in South Africa with world consciousness. And that really made the boycott movement lift off. And that was the beginning of the demise of the white South African regime. That's what we're into now, I hope. The lift-off of the boycott movement, because it's the supremely peaceful and non-violent action that is really going to produce results. So for us, Jews for Justice for Palestinians, what we say is we're working hard for that, for justice for Palestinians.
Glynn, we're so delighted to have you here, a lifelong campaigner on these matters. Thank you so much for all that you are doing and all that you continue to do, and how you demonstrate the solidarity and unity that we're showing here today. I want to take a little bit of a slight departure from our lineup of speakers and take what is called a commercial break. And I want to test out this notion of what Hugh calls the multiplier effect, and that Shamil talked about our social media. He said, well, we need to tell somebody, don't we? We need to tell somebody we're here. So what I want you to all do, how many of you have got a social media device on you right now? Okay, this is your time and this is your moment. Now, if I ask Ben Foley or Matt Wilgris, what is the hashtag? What is the hashtag that we can all use? What is the hashtag?
What, for Saturday?
Yes, what is the hashtag?
Gaza 9 with capital A.
Gaza 9?
Yeah, Gaza 9.
With capital A.
The last A is a capital. Yeah.
Okay, it's on your seats. There's a hashtag. I want you to tell somebody that you are here and that you are going to be there on Saturday and that you want them to join you. That is how we multiply. Is that right, Shamil?
That's absolutely
okay.
Right.
I want you all to do that now. You've heard from Dr. Ali of the Finsbury Park Mosque, Hugh Lanning of the Palestine Solidarity Campaign, Shamil Jordan of Friends of Al-Aqsa, and Glynn Secker of Jews for Justice for Palestine. And I'm Claudia Webb from Islington Council, a councillor. So, you've got your opportunity now. Whilst you're doing that, I'm going to bring in, from the floor, I'm going to bring in Sean Errington from the North London Stop the War Coalition to come here and speak from the floor. Sean.